Hello, Bronco Nation, and welcome to Episode 1 of the 2022 season for the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show. I'm your host, Ryan Booth, joined as always by Chris Tobler and the head coach of the Broncos, Lee Blankenship. Guys, it's time for Bronco football.
It's here.
It's time. Let's do it.
So excited to get things rolling this year. And kind of before we just jump head first into all of this, I wanted to talk about a lot of changes this year for the Coaches Show. Now on Fridays, so you watch us on game days. So Friday is going to be your football, just full of football. You've got the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show, and then the hype video will drop later today. And then tonight, everything gets kicked off over and more as the Broncos take on the Southmoore SaberCats. And you know Southmoore is flying high. They're 1-0 right now on the season after a winless campaign last year. They got a big win last week. They're in week 0.
28-14 at Putnam City North. And you made the comment after the game, their kids looked really excited to get a win after 2 years, really.
Yeah, listen, their kids, big credit to the Southmoore coaching staff and their players. They played really hard all night long. They were down by 7 at halftime and found a way to come back and win by 2 touchdowns. So we didn't see guys hanging their heads and being discouraged, but obviously it was a special moment for them after that big win, and we fully expect to roll into a hornet's nest on Friday night. They're going to be excited, and you can tell that they play really hard, and we've got to go in and play good football on our end.
Yeah, we'll dive more into the Southmoore game later, but want to let everybody know, hey, first week we kind of call this like our pregame or our preseason special, something like that. Then the week after that, once these guys have a game under their belt, we'll have a game to bring in some exciting changes to the show this year. We're going to actually have some plays of the games. You're going to be able to see those clips. Yep. We'll have a player of the game. Every time when we start talking about stats, our outstanding producer, engineer, Bless Matthews, he's going to get those things up. So everybody watching, you'll be able to see a lot more of what we're talking about and hopefully just make it a much more enjoyable experience. So looking forward again. It'd be every Friday during the regular season and then on into the postseason here on MHSBroncosports.tv, your home for Bronco Athletics.
And we're really fortunate to have Bless producing our content because for those that don't know, the highlight videos and hype videos that have been released in the previous year, that's all Bless. And I'm telling you, NFL, college, high school, there's no better video packages.
I get questions all the time from coaches. Hey, who does your videos? And love sending them his names.
Hey, we're going to give him credit too. Mustang alum, Mustang graduate,
right.
And Chris. Hey, you and I, it chimes in with us, OSU guy.
Yes.
So I mean,
and my neighbor.
And your neighbor.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
So no, does an outstanding job. And guys, I'll tell you, I got a little sneak peek. I went ahead. I'm a maybe open one present on Christmas Eve kind of guy. I got a little sneak peek of the video for Friday. It's the 20 seconds I saw, I had goosebumps on goosebumps. So it's big time.
I haven't even seen the video yet.
I refused because I want the full effect on Friday. But you guys go ahead.
Chris passed. I caved. I had to see it. So again,
very
super
cool.
excited. Now we still will be recording on Wednesday nights, and tonight obviously we're here at Zaxby's. Public, welcome to join us. We'll put out where we're going to be recording and everything. Make sure and stop by, join us and everything. But the show, again, Fridays on MHSBroncosports.tv. So, again, here at Zaxby's, 1084 East State Highway 152, owner-operator Jamie Page. Could not ask for a better friend of the program, sponsor, just great guy all the way around. So we appreciate everything that he and his people here at Zaxby's do for us. And it's not limited to just football. They started the Zaxby's Cup for middle school basketball. So with 3 middle schools, Mustang North, Mustang South, Mustang Central, they sponsor that. Those 3 teams play, each other during the season, and whoever comes out on top, they get awarded the Zaxby's Cup. So again, just great, not just Mustang High School athletic partner, but great community involvement here with Jamie Page and Zaxby's. So super excited to have them on board again. But they've got it dine-in, carry-out, online, anything you need, they will take care of you for sure. So, guys, they kind of touched on Southmoore a little bit. They had a week 0 game last week. A number of teams did, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about, I don't know, the one thing that we're probably not totally surprised on, but there was a team that announced their arrival in 6A1 last week, and that was the Bixby Spartans taking on Owasso at Skelly Stadium, and it wasn't close. Bixby makes the jump from 6A2 to 6A1 this year, opens with a huge game. I think they called it the Battle of the Burrows, or they had
Battle of the Burbs.
Battle of the Burbs, that's what it was. And
I think it's kind of a weak name
easy,
for a rivalry game.
Don't
but
start
that's
that
my
yet.
Stop.
Hey, great thing about recording is we can edit, Chris.
Nope.
Can edit that out. But no, I mean, guys, I'm sure you've watched it. The connections there, and it was.
Sure.
I watched the game Thursday night, and by the second half, Bixby had just completely dominated Owasso.
And you
their
don't
heads
see
were down.
that.
No, they were physically beat up. They didn't want any more.
You have to put in that asterisk though. They had Owasso had an Alabama commit that went out of the game early, and that
he didn't
that
play
was
the second
really
half.
a turning point.
Owasso was without their starting running back. They're both probably won't return this year, but I'm telling you, when you look at Bixby, they don't impress you when you see them on the field, but a lot of their guys play both ways. A lot of guys play Iron Man
football.
And still, by the end of the game, they looked fresh, and Owasso looked out of shape and looked beat up.
Yeah.
And I mean that factual.
And that's a great comment, because that kind of leads me to where I want to start when we come back from this break. So we're going to take a timeout. We'll kind of get things ready as we are here, episode 1 of the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show on MHSBroncosports.tv. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Hey Mustang, let's get excited for another winning year here in Mustang, Oklahoma. And to all my Mustang fans, go Broncos.
Hey Bronco fans, this is Larry Andrews with 777 Roofing and Construction. We're proud supporters of the Mustang Broncos. Go Broncos!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here at Zaxby's in Mustang. It's the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show. Thank you so much for joining us. And Chris, before we went to break, you brought up just the physicalness, the physicality, they say, of Bixby, just the stamina, the strength. And Coach, we talked about it last year a number of times. You said for Mustang to take that next step and compete with now the Bixbys and Owassos and Jinx and Unions of 6A1, we've got to get bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
And you guys made a commitment to that. So I guess just kind of give us that 1,000-foot view of the program.
Sure.
Where are we now?
Yeah, we decided to make a commitment to that 4 years ago when we got here, and we're finally starting to see the benefits of that. Bixby, they do a great job in their weight room. Those kids are strong. And when I came to Mustang and looked at our community and looked at our kids, I honestly thought we've got a similar type of community here in Mustang that they have in Bixby. We've got that kind of kids. Our kids work their tails off every day, and we need to be big, strong athletes. In order to have success here is what we believe, and that's what we've hung our hat on. And I tell you what, this offseason has been tremendous. I believe it's the best offseason we've ever had, and I'm talking from January to present. Our kids, they lifted today on Wednesday of game week, and we lift hard. Our kids are bought into it. There have been no complaints about about the load or the amount, the commitment that it takes to be successful. So we're excited. Our kids have earned it this year. Now we just have to go out and claim that.
It makes it easier to get kids bought in when you have a season like you did last year.
Sure.
I mean, and we'll talk about this, but a run to the state semifinals, and you're right there against the eventual state champion.
Yep.
You know, and those kids see that and they realize, hey, it's worth what it takes.
Absolutely. And I think that it kind of clicked with our kids. We got into that semifinal game last year. We're playing the Jinx Trojans, and our kids
eventual state champion.
It was so cold.
I didn't even notice, to be honest with you. But man, our kids didn't bat an eye and just focused on what we could control. And we noticed as throughout the course of the game, they did not dominate the line of scrimmage like they have against us, or at least a team that I've coached in the past. And we stood toe to toe with them. And they didn't push us around up front, and that was a huge thing. And our kids see that. I feel like our kids are as bought in as we've ever been to that process.
Chris?
Strength and conditioning coach Josh Brewer is doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
I know you've known him for a long time. Last week when you showed me the data of the improvement of our team in the offseason, it was pretty remarkable. Speaking of Jinx and speaking of Week 0 games, we looked really good against Santa Fe in our first scrimmage. Santa Fe had a chance to win the football game against Jinx.
Yeah.
I think the final score was 13-10 or
13-10.
something strange like that.
That was down here at Edmond Santa Fe.
Correct.
Jinx is always going to be talented, but you have to feel we're making strides in competing with those East Side teams.
We feel good about it, and I know you guys love to talk about it, and our goal, and
Ryan
that goes
does.
with
I'm more respectful.
Our goal as a program and the way that we approach every week is just we want to be our very best today. Yeah. And I know that's kind of coach talk, but we really believe that. We really believe what we say we believe. We want to be the best version of us today, and tomorrow will take care of itself. We get to tomorrow, we're going to be the best version of ourselves tomorrow, and then Friday nights tend to take care of themselves. Yeah. When we play those teams like Jinx or Union or Owasso, and we've been able to have some success over the last 4 years against those teams, but we don't talk about them. We don't talk about practice isn't amped up, because we're playing an East Side team that week. Right. Every day we're trying to just be our best, regardless of who we're playing, whether it's a scrimmage, whether it's the first day of practice, whether it's spring football, or whether we're playing for the state semifinals that week.
Well, I've told you before, I've stolen what you said. You get 10% better every week.
Absolutely.
You've got 10 weeks at the end of the regular season. You're 100% better going into the playoffs.
100%. That's always a goal.
And to wrap up Week 0 games, Broken Arrow lost to a Bentonville team from Arkansas. They were picked to win. Broken Arrow was. Jinx and Santa Fe played a tight game. Obviously, Bixby dominated Owasso. Union dominated Westmoore. So you kind of see Union and Bixby separate themselves. And
it's Week 0.
Owasso, Broken Arrow, we're starting to see some separation. I'm just saying if we do what we're supposed to do, it's going to be an exciting season.
6A1 is very interesting right now. That's
anybody
for sure.
can be beat any night.
Absolutely.
Another thing, we talked about the strength conditioning. Last year, we got to have the horsepower night. Weather kind of complicated things this year. I know a lot of people disappointed about that, but, man, I've got to touch on, because I was there from start to finish this year. We talk about community involvement with our sponsors like Zaxby's.
Yeah.
And, Coach, that I'm going to call it that show you guys put on with Bring Out the Broncos from the now flag football age kids all the way up through our varsity program. That is an amazing event.
Would you say there's some excitement for Bronco football?
I think there is a little bit. The stadium's packed, and not just the home side. We've got the home side, the visitor side, everybody wandering around, all the different things. It was a sight to behold.
We estimated 4,500 fans there, for community people in our community, parents watching those little guys. That's probably my favorite day. One of my favorite things that we do in our program. Just, it's so cool to see the little guys, ages 4 years old. My youngest son Clay is 4, and he plays for the flag league. So
and
he was fired up. Yep, they ran out of the tunnel first, and absolutely every kid that plays football in Mustang, every child that's in our youth football program, our middle school programs, our freshman team, and then our JV and varsity, they all got football reps on the field that day, and super cool just as head coach to see that's how we're growing this thing and how we're building and making. Again, we don't want to just have a good team when we have good players. We want to build a championship program. We want to build a dominant program, and that's how we're getting it done. We've got the buy-in from our youth coaches has been spectacular, guys, and been really thankful for their hard work. Our middle school coaches are doing an unbelievable job. It's so cool for me going from year one where you look at our 3 middle schools, and there's 3 different offenses out there. Right. And now I walk out there and watch Mustang North 7th grade playing Mustang South 7th grade, and excited to get those kids up to me one day. And I'm listening, I'm watching, and it's all familiar. Yeah, they're running both
great
teams are playing against each other. They're calling it like we call. Oh, it's an awesome game between them. Yeah, so, great game. So we're excited about the future for sure.
Big buzz around that night, and we're going to talk about it for just a second because I want your thoughts on how important something like this is for the program. Yeah. When you have a young man like Jacoby Johnson make his announcement, he commits to, as painful as it is for me to say, Chris is wiping the tear.
Yeah, hate that for you guys and bless. It is what it is, boys.
Commits to the University of Oklahoma, and you've said it, everybody said the way that was done, Jacoby, I'm sure if you asked him, he did something like that, not for himself, but he did it for the team because he knows how important it is to those other guys. But a moment like that, what does that do for a program?
Well, I mean, first of all, it speaks volumes to Jacoby Johnson and who he is and his character and what his heart is. And how much he loves others. Because most guys are sitting at a table like this and they've got their hats out and, it's all about me. Oh, am I going to pick this team or am I going to go? And Jacoby, when we sat down and I sit down with Jacoby and his parents and just what are some ideas? How can we make this cool? Jacoby was all about having his teammates there to share that moment with him. And I floated the idea, of to bring out the Broncos and for all of those little guys to be right in front of him and to see there's 400 little boys sitting there that night all dreaming of being in Jacoby's shoes one day and to see a young man from our town and the way he handled and conducted himself, even after he was over there high-fiving those kids because, one little boy was not far from me. He said, I can't believe I just got to shake a OU Sooners hand. And Jacoby takes that.
We still got a season. We still got a
So you've worn the OU uniform on the field. Did you pressure him to sign with Oklahoma?
Not at all.
Honestly. Did you promise him more reps?
Here it comes.
Okay, all right.
That was completely Jacoby's call. I'll tell you what, Stanford University did an unbelievable job recruiting him.
Rumor is he absolutely loved his visit to Stanford, loved the university and everything that was going on out there.
He did, and I for a minute there I thought he was going to end up going out that direction. They did a great job with him. It is a very long ways away, and he's an Oklahoma boy that grew up wanting to play for the Sooners, and got to be thrilled to death and excited, for him, and obviously, it's awesome for our program. It's really cool just for our little kids to be able to see that and
Stanford just doesn't recruit anybody. You have to be the total package.
Absolutely.
A great student, great person of character, and a great athlete. So that says a lot. Yep. Alabama, Stanford, Michigan. I mean, it's pretty incredible when you think
Oklahoma
about his
State
story.
Was in his final.
They were in his top five. His last 5.
You mean that as a slight?
Not at all.
Yes,
those guys, they did a great job.
They were in 5th place, maybe. No. And Chris, I think you read my notes because it's kind of where I wanted to go. Another commitment to a D1 school. Yep. Again, Keegan Bass commits to Air Force. Yep. And like Chris said, that says a lot about the young man as a whole, not 100%. Just as an athlete, but as a student and as a person. So congratulations to him and his family.
Absolutely. I love Keegan. His mom does a tremendous job as our girls basketball coach. Yep. And I will tell you, he doesn't impress you physically, but Air Force was smart enough to see a lot of the time he's the best football player on the field.
Absolutely.
I'm serious.
And kudos to them for, the way that they recruited him. Yeah. And listen, you can't be a slouch and get into the Air Force Academy either now.
Yeah. They ain't taking the Chris Toblers and Ryan Booths of the world.
No.
To have our kids that are going and Keegan just making that commitment, he's going to serve.
Yeah.
And that's something that's something that we talk about every day. And you just want to talk about a coach's heart being full and just so proud of those guys and their decisions. Seeing Jacoby out there making that night not just about himself, but about everybody, and loving his community and loving those little Broncos enough to spend time with them. And then Keegan, same thing, loving his country and choosing to go be somebody that serves others is awesome for me to see.
Both of those guys are hard to cover.
Yes,
and it's going to be fun to watch this year. Both seniors,
and they need each other too, because we're gonna move those guys all over the field. We're not gonna line them up in the same spot every time this year. They both know our offense really, really well. They're dangerous when they're on opposite sides of the field because you can't double both of them and give us a box that we can't run the football right at you. So it's going to be a lot of fun seeing us and having the opportunity to game plan with two weapons like those guys. I promise.
Lots of weapons going to be on the field again this year for the Broncos, and it's one of my favorite things. I love it when I get the notifications on Twitter from all the guys playing on the team. Got this offer. Yep. I mean, it's just, and not everyone's a D1 offer and things and it doesn't have to be.
Absolutely.
The thing is that you're going to get to continue playing football and stuff.
And have a chance to go and get a degree. That's what it's all about.
Talk to Caden Jones. I know he's got Wyoming, I think, was in on him, and some other things.
Central Michigan, who plays Oklahoma State Thursday night.
There you go. The University of Kansas is another offer that Caden has, and he's taking his time, making sure, he really wants to. Because if you look at Caden Jones, boy, he'll fill up a door frame. Now, he's a big, strong kid. He really wanted to take his time and let these first 3 or 4 games of his senior year, because he feels like he's still got something to prove to some schools that are right on the hook of potentially offering him.
So lots of things going on around the Mustang Bronco football program. Coach, I was kind of crazy, kind of just taking a hard right turn here with this or something, but lots of changes this year for high school football, looking at some of the rule changes and things like that. A lot of discussion about the new sportsmanship rule from the OSSAA, and that actually now, it's always been tailored to the athletes on the field, coaches on the sidelines, things, but it really extends past the boundaries of the field now into the fans in the stand.
Careful.
And their actions, for lack of a better word, can have serious effects now on the young men and women on their chosen field or court that they're playing on. So that's a big.
And I can tell you, as an administrator who oversees some of our events, it is getting out of hand. And I respect the OSSAA for making a rule that holds people accountable, because things have gotten out of hand the last few years, and I think it's only going to make our fans, our student athletes, and our coaches safer, to be honest with you.
I think it's going to create a better fan environment.
Yes.
I mean, so yeah, it's good. Some other, just real quick, I just printed this off earlier looking at some of the rule changes. Anybody wanted to change to 0? Now that the single 0 is a legal number for football.
Don't tell our guys that 0 is a legal number for football yet.
Edit. Mark that down. We'll edit that out.
There might be a lot of guys that want to wear 0, but they need to do a better job fundraising, and because those jerseys are expensive.
Got to buy. Because that's just changed now. So it's just.
Yep.
And then one that really kind of caught my eye, and I haven't had time to read through all the rule, the verbiage of the rule, but is the new added exception for the passer that allows the passer to legally throw the ball away to conserve yardage. So some changes in the intentional grounding rule.
Yeah, it's honestly going back kind of to more of a college model. You can get out of the pocket and throw the ball. It doesn't have to be in the area of a receiver. It's designed to help protect the quarterback, but it's very, very similar in wording to the college, what you see on Saturdays.
That's one that caught me, as much as we like to move the ball around, and with Tristan being an extremely mobile quarterback.
Yep.
So kind of curious as to how maybe that would affect.
Tristan doesn't like to throw that ball away anyways, but he's more of a tuck it and run it and try to put his shoulder down. But
and I am so excited to see him play.
I would love to be able to look at. I'm looking at kind of your scouting package and things like that. I'd love to be able to look over and see the Tristan Russell run game package. But I know you want to. Sometimes it can be a short life for quarterbacks back there, and you got to protect protect those guys as well.
He is
We
truly
definitely-
fearless, wouldn't you
He is
agree?
fearless. He reminds, they said when Brett Favre went into the NFL his rookie year, his motto was never slide. He wanted to earn the respect of his teammates, but Russell really
man.
does have that kind of mentality. Tristan is just tough as nails, and we've tried to get him to slide. We've tried to get him to throw that ball out of bounds and not take those unnecessary hits, and he'll take off running, but he'll be the one that delivers the hit.
Or
he
sometimes
has laid it.
he will refuse to take a knee when that's all we need to win the football game, and he'll want to get a few more yards. So
He's a competitor
Yes.
in everything that he does, and that's why he's one of our team captains
I
this
love
year
Tristan.
and one of our
Nothing wrong.
one
So
of our
excited.
big leaders. Yep.
Hey, people watching us right now probably hear us talking about Southmoore, and if they're short-time or long-time Bronco fans, they're probably wondering, wait, Game 1, Southmoore, that something doesn't quite add up right here. And for the first time in, Chris, I know you'll correct me if I'm wrong because you are the master of these stats, I want to say 49 years, UConn has not been the first game on Mustang's schedule.
correct.
I believe that's what I read or saw or heard.
Correct.
So, and if you hear it on the internet, you know it's true.
We're in the same district, I think, for the first time in the history of the rivalry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So UConn will actually be Game 4.
Correct.
And like that game needs anything extra added on top of it. Mustang UConn. But now it's a district game.
And it's a district game, and it's the first game of the district play.
Right.
So there's, regardless of what the first 3 games in our non-district schedule looks like, that game will be a huge one. It's at their place this year. It's strange. It's odd for us too. It's strange for our kids.
Yes.
We should be going to a big community-wide pep rally tomorrow,
Right.
and it's kind of been business as usual. But we are excited about that one when we get to it, and it is weird not playing UConn. That's a quite a game, and but it'll just be even a bigger stage, and we're playing for even more more at stake in district play.
Yeah, if you can actually play for more when it comes to that game. Chris, what's been the record against UConn here the last few years?
Well, I think it's 30-20 overall right
30 and
now.
20
and
overall.
I spoke to Robert Foreman, Andrea Guzik, and Greg Oliver, assistant AD, who we recently stole from Southmoore, but he's a Mustang graduate.
Mustang grad.
And there may be some exciting news related to Mustang UConn coming out very soon.
Nice.
We'll just have to wait and see.
That's what we call dropping a tease, I think.
Yes.
Dropping a
Yes,
tease right
indeed.
there. But no, kind of, again, transitioning back to where we're at really right now. 7-5 last year. We already talked about it. Trip to the state semifinals against Jinx. Lots of big things happened during the season. Go to Owasso and get a huge win. We talked about that. I think we even had, for the next 2 or 3 shows, we had to give Chris like 20 seconds to just to continue to relish that win, and it was a big win. And I put this one in here for Chris, and we just talked about it. Continue to dominate UConn, but as we kind of start to focus in more on the Broncos for this season, we've talked about it. Tristan Russell back at quarterback.
Yep.
So excited to have him back there. Know he's going to do an outstanding job. One thing that intrigues me is the last couple years, the running back has been, and I'm going to go ahead and throw the pun out there since we're the Broncos, it's been a stable of running backs. Is that where we're at this year?
That's exactly where we're at. The room, I would say, is probably led by Jay Bedford.
Okay.
Jay has had, he's been on the field for us at running back in that position since he was a sophomore, and in a limited role as a sophomore. Started as a junior. We've got, we have got a 1, 2, 3, even 4 punch. We feel like
triple option.
Yes. Well, maybe not. We're not running the triple option, but in some form that might be happening as well.
Flex bone, maybe?
Probably
No, I'm
not
just
the
kidding.
flex bone.
No,
We're not
that's
doing
just
that.
Now you
Just
guys are getting crazy. You're getting crazy.
We Price Burgess is a young man that got a lot of action last year.
Yes.
We even started calling him and Jay, Thunder and Lightning. And Price has got a 300-pound bench press. He's actually dropped a little weight and running really well right now. Added some speed, so he's looking really good, doing a great job. He'll expect him to be on the field a ton. Anton Prince is a senior.
Yeah.
Their family moved to our district. He played at CHA last year, which is a Class A private school, and he was one of the best players in that classification. And they moved into our school district and enrolled at Mustang, and he has really had a good summer, good fall camp. We expect him to. He looked really good at the scrimmage on Thursday night against Norman North. Had a big scrimmage, and then junior Bryant Sanders is another young man. All of those kids are in that group. Yeah, Bryant's is the lone junior in the stable this year, but he is a downhill, really hard runner. We expect him to come in and give us some really valuable reps as well. So 4 running backs that we feel good about, playing against anybody on Friday night is a good situation.
It just makes it that much more difficult for anybody to prepare for you because they've got to look at different styles.
We're going to be fresh throughout the night, and we're going to get 100% reps, all night long.
Chris,
any week we play.
Are there receivers besides Johnson and Bass that you're excited about that may have breakout years?
Lots of them.
I've got one.
I'm fired up about that whole group. So I'll start with Lee Brian Hayes. Okay, we call him LB. LB has just exploded onto the scene starting this summer in 7-on-7. Looked really, really good. He's had a couple of great scrimmages. He's a two-sport athlete. He's a basketball player as well and has great ball skills. And he's going to be a guy, we really think as we get into district play and as the season progresses, people are going to really focus so much on Jacoby and Keegan to win some big games. We're going to have that third guy step in and be the guy that wins games. And LB is definitely a guy that can do that for us. Evan Rader is a senior for us. When Evan was a sophomore, he was about 5'8", 125 pounds.
Yep.
Evan is 6'3" and about 190 right now, and he's a track kid. He's a high jumper. He's runs the 200-meter dash and the 400-meter, and he is just grown so much. His work ethic is excellent. He's extremely smart, and he's made some big-time catches down the field. He's a big target for our quarterbacks to throw the ball to.
He seems hungry.
He is, man, and we're excited. He and Jacoby kind of share reps, and they've been so cool. We put he and Jacoby as workout partners, and Jacoby stood up one day, and we give kids an opportunity to we call them praise days, but to speak well about a teammate. Jacoby talked about how he thanked Evan for pushing him in the weight room and how he's made an impact on him in that area. And then, they share obviously some duties. Jacoby's a two-way player, so anytime Jacoby's over on the side, we feel great with Evan running out there and making plays. Tymere Hollingsworth is another junior that is, and we're talking about two positions right here.
Yeah.
Another junior that's got a chance to be.
We're 5 deep into it.
Listen, he's a deep ball threat. He's very smooth. He is definitely going to be a guy on the field. Aiden Edmondson, senior, baseball kid, catches everything we throw to him. You're going to see him on the field this year and having opportunities to make plays. He's just a technician. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the fastest guy, but he does everything right, and that's something that we love with Aiden. And then there's a young man. I haven't brought a freshman up to the varsity in week 1 of the season, since 2019, and that freshman was named Jacoby Johnson.
Okay.
We've got 2 freshmen that we've brought up in 2022, and those names are Jaden and JT Johnson, and they both are playing receiver right now. They're the twin brothers
familiar?
of Jacoby.
Yep. Yeah.
And man, they remind me. They're almost spitting images of him when he was a freshman.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Both of those young men are going to have opportunities to be on the field at the receiver position this year for our varsity as well. So, we've got a stable if you want to continue with the pun of receivers also.
Real quick on the offensive line, so kind of a new group, but some familiar names because we've had to shuffle and do some things, and typically that's the way the O-line works. But talk for just a second about O-line.
So last year we had the offensive line is the position group that, as a coaching staff, from January to present, we have been really, really interested, very focused on. I think I've asked Coach McDaniel weekly since January. If we're playing tonight, what's the lineup? What's it look like? Last year, we had a great offensive line. We had 4 seniors and a junior on that unit, and then those 4 seniors graduated, so that left 4 spots for us to fill. The returning starter this year is Rylan Lerma. I'll start with him. Rylan is a beast, man. He is a pull and trap, pull and kick out, pull and swab machine. As a sophomore, we used Rylan in the backfield some as a wing back in some of our jumbo packages, and he would kick out and lead through the hole, and he's a tough kid, and he will hit you hard. So we're excited for him. He was voted a captain by his teammates this year there on the offensive line, and he's kind of the guy that's really set the tone for that unit. The projected starting lineup for this week actually is 4 seniors and a junior. So
okay.
So we've got
experience.
We have experience, or we have guys that are very mature
and
experienced inside of our program. Cannot wait to get that game experience with them. Seamus Leeper is another one. You saw Seamus on the field a lot. He was kind of our 6th man on the offensive line unit. He would roll in a lot last year, but we expect for him to have a big year. Then you have Conley Matthews at center.
Okay.
Conley's a senior. Conley's got a 330-pound bench press.
Kid.
He's a great kid. He's tough as nails, and he plays with a chip on his shoulder for sure. New player this year, and you'll see him on the roster. He's very hard to miss because he's 6'7", 330 pounds. Rhett Schneider. His family came into our school district.
It's an offensive lineman name, Rhett Schneider.
Oh, man, R-E-T-T. And he is a country boy. He is a tough farm kid, and really, really was a huge addition to our unit. He'll be there at right tackle. Obviously Lerma at left guard, and then Austin Reed is the junior, who's a big, strong kid. I don't know if you guys. He was a beast in middle school, and just a silent worker. One of the strongest kids in our program this year as a junior. Huge bench press, huge squat, huge power clean, and we're really excited about him. So we've got seniors. They're guys that have been in our weight room for all 4 years. We're a little bit undersized in terms of height, except for Rhett, who's 6'7", 6'8". But we've got a lot of fight and guys that'll go and we feel like be able to get the job done. So excited to see them in action. Obviously, early in the year, as coach, you worry about mistakes and you worry about those holds. We've been out there in scrimmages. We're blowing our own whistle. So we've been stressing that throughout the week. We've got to play clean football. Mistake-free football, no penalties, no turnovers, and we feel like if we do that, we have a chance to beat anybody we play.
Outstanding. Flip to the other side of the ball now. Talk about the defense for just a couple minutes. I don't know if you're looking at one particular area to kind of lead the defense, but when I start looking through, it's a bunch of familiar names. Starting back in the secondary. You've got Zach Duran back there. Zach Warren, who was a young man that really just kind of, I hate to say, just got thrown out there.
Yeah, and he'll hit you.
Yeah, Zach Warren's first. I remember Zach Warren's first start like it was yesterday. It wasn't our best team game, but Zach Warren's first start was against Tulsa Union at Tulsa Union a year ago. He had 26 tackles. Yeah, so he will fly around and hit you hard.
I remember watching. I think his first play, it was the Cardinal. The Cardinal sin. Ball snapped, and the first thing he does is he runs a few steps forward, and then he realizes, guy gets loose, and he makes up all that ground, and
we love Zach, but you don't want your free safety making 27 tackles in a game. So.
Well, actually, in our defense, we run 3 high safeties, and that guy right there is more of a downhill box player.
There in the center.
So he'll have a lot of tackles this year.
Got it.
So you got Zach kind of maybe anchoring that secondary a little bit.
Well, you got to mention Trevor Price in that group too. Trevor Price is a 3-year starter.
Okay.
He started as a sophomore, and he really looks like when you look at Trevor and just his development, he looks like a linebacker. But we got three we've really got 4 pretty good linebackers to play 3 spots. So he started his career in the secondary. You'll see him flying around and making a lot of big plays as well. When we played Norman North, and it's just a scrimmage, but our kids were flying around and being physical, and there were a lot of pads popping, a lot of big hits coming from guys in that secondary.
So you spoke on you brought up the linebackers there for a second. Hudson Conrad, kind of the leader of that linebacking group this year.
Returning starter. Hudson is another young man that was voted team captain. We carry 4 captains each year, and that's voted on by the teammates in a peer review. And Hudson is definitely one of the leaders on that defensive side of the ball. Strong, tough, long, athletic, physical kid.
Good football DNA.
Absolutely. His dad was an NFL veteran and really well known and respected coach in the state of Oklahoma. JR, most people are here in Mustang know JR Conrad.
Trench Mafia.
He's got to be proud of that boy of his this year and he's due for a big season. Jackson Bobbitt is across from him on the other side there at linebacker. Jackson's a senior, 300-pound power clean kid. You notice I'm talking a lot about their weight room records because that's important to us. And that tells us a lot. I mean, it's hard to play linebacker for the Broncos now if you don't power clean 290 and bench press 275. I mean, that's where our program has been elevated to. So I mean, we've got 3 linebackers in Hudson, Jackson, and Bear Meadows, and they all power clean 300 pounds or more, and that's exceptional. We're fired up about that for sure.
Well, definitely excited to get things going here tonight as, again, we take on the Southmoore SaberCats. The game's at Moore High School, kickoff 7 o'clock. So we're going to take another short timeout, and we're actually going to get Jamie Page from Zaxby's in here to join us for just a moment. So we'll be right back with Jamie Page and more of the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show here on MHSBroncosports.tv.
Swadley's is serving up Oklahoma's favorite barbecue without ever leaving your car. That hot, tender, smoky goodness is ready for you to pick up in our drive-thru or convenient curbside service.
Hey, put it in the front seat, please.
We'll even serve your self-driving car.
Thank you.
So come on, we're Swadley's, world-famous barbecue, family-owned and operated.
Hey Mustang, let's get excited for another winning year here in Mustang, Oklahoma. And to all my Mustang fans, go Broncos.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are joined now by owner-operator of Zaxby's here in Mustang, Mr. Jamie Page. So an outstanding sponsor of Mustang High School athletics and just an all-around outstanding community supporter of Mustang in general. And Jamie, let me be the first one to give you a go Dogs. Congratulations on that natty for your Bulldogs. We talked about that last year.
Yeah, we did. I've got my Georgia belts on today, and a couple of guys with boots and belt buckles tried to beat me down earlier, but that's one every 40 years, so you can't take that away from us. So if I die, I'm a happy man. Yeah. But anyway, we digress.
Well, I can attest to this, and Jamie, I was telling you before we came on earlier and stuff. Your staff here, your people here, top notch. It doesn't matter how big or how little the issue is. If there's an issue, they're going to do everything they can to make it right. And so, again, outstanding place. Dine in, carry out, order online. Zaxby's here in Mustang. We appreciate that. And
I don't know if I'd ever eaten at we'd lived here a couple of years, and I don't know if I'd ever even eaten at the Zaxby's. Just drove past town and didn't realize. And Jamie came in one day and introduced himself and said, "Hey, Coach, I'm new guy that's going to be in charge of the restaurant here in town. Just wanted to meet you. Want to know we want to support you and be a part of your program." And he has certainly made good on that And I tell you what, it's one of our favorites, our family's favorite places to eat now. They've got great wings.
Hey, they got great wings.
Never going to go wrong.
Yeah, Coach told me, he said the boys drive all the way to B-Dubs, and ain't nothing wrong with B-Dubs. Yeah. The lemon pepper is amazing, but let's don't leave town if we don't have to. Let's just stay right here. We got everything we need here in Mustang.
Well, listen, right here. For our family, Jamie, and businesses like this one, but for Zaxby's, Jamie and Zaxby's choose to support Mustang Broncos, so the Blankenship family is going to choose to support them. And I hope all of our Bronco fans are the exact same way.
They're all over the
this
support.
Is the place.
Jamie's got a copy of the.
Yeah.
I mean,
first off, I want to show you this side.
Big time. Those are the season tickets this year. Season tickets still available. Contact the Mustang High School Athletic Department.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Pretty
they
awesome.
They can get you hooked up. But as good as the front side looks, check out the back side.
It looks even better on the back. Come on.
Does that say free?
It's free. That's
How about that?
In Georgia, that means you can't thump a free melon. That's what that means. But listen, that's free cheese bite, free fried pickles. Absolutely.
White cheddar cheese bites, fried pickles.
Bring the season ticket in, and we'll take care of you. We're excited about this season. It's going to be a fun season. I'm excited about it.
Friday nights after the game, it was so cool. Jamie and I talked, and our boys, my first year here, that was kind of the tradition. They drove to another town and went to the Buffalo Wild Wings, and they all sat and just enjoyed it. And Jamie and I talked and said, why don't we make a safe space for our kids to come on a Friday night after the game? And Jamie's got the game in here playing the replay of you and Chris's call on the game.
Oh, brother.
And our kids love coming in and just hanging out and eating. He keeps the restaurant open, and they get to watch the game right after they played it. And this place is pretty hopping on a Friday night, so bring those coupons by and check it out.
And it's not just the team; they're open to everybody.
Correct.
So you want to come and hang out and continue to celebrate a big football, a big night of Friday football, a big Friday night football, and a big Bronco victory and stuff. Hey, get on out here to Zaxby's. They're going to stay open late after every home game.
Absolutely. So, every home game, and we'll stay
invited.
Open plenty late enough to where everybody can come in and hang out. But it's always fun. I'll say this: it's fun to watch the players come in, and a lot of them will have little girlfriends with them. And I think the girlfriend's thinking we're about to, get a few minutes and just sit and eat and talk. And the player is locked in watching the game, and the girlfriend's just sitting there eating by herself. So I tell you, it's go Broncos all the way. It's pretty hilarious.
Awesome.
We love this town and love what the Broncos mean to this town and Coach Blankenship and his values, and we're excited about another awesome Broncos year for sure.
Well, Jamie, we appreciate you. We appreciate you hosting us here tonight. We appreciate everything that you do for Bronco football and Mustang High School athletics. And I always say Mustang High School, but Mustang athletics, because we talked earlier about the Zaxby's Cup for middle school basketball between the three middle schools and stuff here, just kind of taking that to another level. So outstanding job. We appreciate you guys so much. So we're going to take one more, our final timeout of the night. We'll be back right after this. We'll look ahead to tonight's game against the Southmoore SaberCats here on the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show.
Mustang, let's get excited for another winning year here in Mustang, Oklahoma. And to all my Mustang fans, go Broncos.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show at Zaxby's in Mustang. Just had
it's
owner
good to be back.
Good to be back. It is good to be back. But had owner-operator Jamie Page with us, and again, we appreciate that. But, Coach, we've talked a lot about Mustang. We've talked some about Southmoore, and it's getting closer and closer to game time tonight. Again, at Moore Stadium, so we'll be taking on Southmoore. So, hey, make plans to get out there, but don't go to Southmoore. Go to Moore High School. They all play right there. But Friday night, Coach, talk about how important it is to have a big crowd even at those away games.
Yeah, it's huge. First game, it is a little strange not playing the Millers.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Yeah, that other team up north. However, let's treat this game the same. Let's get our community out there, support our kids. Our boys have been working so hard. We take so much pride in representing our community. One of the things we say every day is we talk about our phrase is "We are Mustang."
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's all about the football team. It means it's about all of us. We represent part of our community, and we play for our community, and that's what's so special about being a one high school town.
I love it.
A lot of places don't have that, but come out, support our kids. Let's fill that stadium up, and let's make that Moore football stadium Bronco Stadium for that night.
Let's go, Chris.
And you and I went to a scheduling meeting about a year ago to develop the schedule for the next 2 years, and everybody wanted to play Mustang because we bring such a great crowd.
Yeah.
That's become a staple, of the Broncos. Everybody but Broken Arrow. But we'll talk about that week 3. But anyway, most everyone, our fans travel so well. That's a huge gate for our opponents.
Yeah, big.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and you listen, we talk about the power of encouragement with our kids all the time. When our fans are loud, they're clapping their hands, they're standing up, they're raising their voices, they're shaking their shakers. It really does. It really does motivate our kids and put something in them.
Bring
that helps
those
us
cowbells.
To play hard. Bring those cowbells and be loud.
Yep.
And we talked about the new rule from the OSSAA about penalizing teams even if the fans get out of hand.
Yep.
What we want everyone to realize is there's an officials shortage.
Yeah.
Nobody makes mistakes on purpose. So let's show some grace and cheer on the kids and be positive. We're going to get some bad calls. We're going to get some good calls. But let's just be happy we have officials on Friday night.
Well, we've got 3 Thursday night games this year because
3 in a row.
Of that official shortage is a major reason for that. So, we tell our kids it's one of our core values. I say attitude and effort, and they have to repeat back, I control. Yeah. So we tell them we can't control if the ref makes a bad call. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on having great character, having a great attitude, and then giving our best effort. So obviously that is exactly what we would expect from our fan base, and I think that we have the best fans in the state of Oklahoma. We get that every week, and are thankful for all of the support. So come on out and join us, and it'll be us together. We are Mustang this Friday night at Moore Stadium.
Yeah, well, and Southmoore's got a win under their belts. They're 1-0 again after a 28-14 win last week on the road. They went on the road. They went winless last year, so started this season with the win. So they are going to be ready as well. And then got to kind of throw some plugs in there. We start on the road, but then we're back at home for 2 games. We've got Deer Creek and then Springdale Harbor. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that. So got an Arkansas team coming into us.
First time ever that we'll play an out-of-state team in football.
But all of our home games, once again, will be live on MHSBroncosports.tv. Myself and Chris Tobler on the call with you again this year. So, again, all of the home games there. And then we kind of threw this out there a little bit, and we're still kind of ironing everything out. But we're super excited, too. I think we locked Coach in as our first guest. We're going to start the Mustang Bronco Sports Express podcast. It'll be Chris Tobler and I keeping you up with everything that the entire Mustang High School athletic department, all sports, we're going to cover it all, and then who knows what's going to happen. I guarantee you we'll go off the rails once or twice.
Maybe, and I hope I remain employed throughout that whole process. But
we can edit.
This will be the first podcast directly tied to a high school athletic department in Oklahoma. And, we've had a coaches show that we did live and videoed. With a podcast, people can drive to work, they can work out, they can listen anytime, anywhere on Spotify. So I think it's going to be really cool, and we'll be the first high school athletic department to roll something like that out.
Very
the
cool.
trailer's out on Spotify. Again, it's the Mustang Broncos Sports Express podcast. Head over to Spotify, make sure and listen to the trailer, and then follow, and then keep up with everything that is Mustang High School athletics. It's on Twitter and Instagram. It's at MHS Bronco Sports. You can follow Mustang High School football. It's at One Bronco Football. Chris Tobler, you're going to get anything and everything from 80s pop culture to random Star Trek references.
And
So
it's designated on my Twitter. My tweets are my own.
It's at Chris Tobler 82. And
he is a great Twitter follow, by the way.
Great follow. And then if you want to just, hey, throw me a bone, you can follow me. It's at MHS Broncos Voice. We appreciate it. And then keep up. The website is mustangbroncos.org for all Mustang High School athletics. But again, your home for Mustang Bronco football this season is MHSBroncosports.tv. Guys, I think we've just about covered it all and stuff. All that's left is to go get that first win of the season tonight against the Southmoore SaberCats.
The Oklahoman just released their predictions for Friday night. They have Mustang 45-28 over Southmoore. I would certainly take that. I do think, though, and I know you have to be careful, Ryan and I can be a little crazy here, but if we play football the way we're supposed to, we shouldn't have any worries. If we go out and execute, this is a really talented team, and I think it's going to be a really exciting year if we stay healthy and execute. Would you agree?
I would agree. It's going to be a very exciting year for the Broncos, and we expect to go out and execute every week.
Yes, sir.
That's it. All right. Well, guys, I think that's pretty much going to put the wraps on episode 1 of the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show here at Zaxby's this week. Keep your eye out on Twitter. We'll let you know where we'll be next week after week 1 of the season, and
with highlights, stats, and players of the week.
That's it. So excited to be with you once again this season. Hope you enjoyed tonight's show, and we look forward to seeing you here all season long. It's the Lee Blankenship Coaches Show on MHSBroncosports.tv. And guys, like we always say,
Go
Broncos.